The jungle moon of Vash'ka did not forgive weakness. Every creature here had fangs, claws, venom, spines, or bone-crushing strength. The Vashkari people, tall, insectoid, and skittish by nature, learned early to stay away from the shadows. Because somewhere in those shadows lurked the Dreknar. The Dreknar was the thing Vashkari mothers used to frighten hatchlings into obedience. It killed silently. It killed instantly. It left nothing behind. At least, that's what everyone believed. So when Serai, a young Vashkari scout, realized the human she had been assigned to escort had wandered off toward Dreknar territory, she panicked. "Human Jace," she called out, her fractal voice trembling. "Do not stray. The Dreknar hunts this path." No response. Her antennae twitched with anxiety as she rushed through the massive fern-like leaves, lungs burning in the thick, humid air. Humans, she had been told, were reckless but durable. Still, no one survived an encounter with the Dreknar. Not even humans. She climbed over a moss-covered root the size of a transport vehicle and froze. Smoke. Cooking smoke. Her heart pounded like a war drum. No, no, no. She pushed aside a tangle of vines and burst into a clearing, and stopped dead. Jace, the human, sat on a fallen log, humming softly to himself, leaning over a crackling fire. On a spit above the flames was a Dreknar. A whole Dreknar.
Dead. Skinned.
Gutted.
Cooking.
Serai's legs nearly gave out. "You," her mandibles clicked uncontrollably. "You are cooking it?" Jace looked up cheerfully.
"Oh, Serai.
There you are. Thought I lost you." She stared at the charred corpse rotating over the flames. That is a Dreknar," she breathed. "I figured." Jace shrugged. "Big teeth, bad attitude, try to eat me. So I ate it instead." Her world tilted. The Dreknar was the apex predator, an unstoppable, nightmarish hunter that entire Vashkari clans evacuated regions to avoid. And this human had killed it
Casually.
alone. And instead of fleeing or calling for rescue, he was having lunch. Serai stumbled backward until her carapace hit a tree. Her whole body shook. "You slew it," she whispered.
Yeah.
"Well, technically it impaled itself." He gestured at a snapped branch nearby. "Lunged at me. I dodged. Boom. Kebab." Serai's jaw hung open. Her people had legends of elite hunters who tried and failed to even wound a Dreknar. Yet this small, soft-skinned mammal had dispatched one almost by accident. Jace gave the spit a thoughtful turn. "Kind of smells like boar. You want some?" The question almost made her faint.
No.
Absolutely not. Its flesh is toxic to every known species. Jace blinked.
Huh.
"Well, I ate a piece already. So, I guess humans aren't on that list." Serai made a strangled noise. "Impossible. Impossible." But Jace looked perfectly fine, relaxed, slightly sweaty from the fire, but fully conscious and very much not dead. "Want a bite?" he repeated, as if offering a snack. I cannot," she stammered. "My organs would liquefy." "That sounds bad," he said, entirely too casual, and sliced off a sizzling strip of meat. He popped it into his mouth. Serai watched, transfixed and horrified, as the human, this strange, fearless creature, chewed thoughtfully. "You're insane," she whispered. He chuckled. "You're not the first to say that."
Middle.
Shock slowly gave way to a heavier, more unsettling realization. Serai crouched near the edge of the clearing, observing as Jace scraped more bark to feed the fire. "You must leave this moon immediately," she insisted. "If the elders find out you killed a Dreknar, why would they care?" Jace frowned. "Because it upsets the balance," she cried. "The Dreknar is the apex. We avoid it, it avoids us. You've disrupted the ancient fear that keeps us alive. Jace raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like balance. That sounds like oppression by a big lizard. It is not a lizard, she snapped automatically, antennae quivering. It is a relic of predatory perfection. Not anymore, he said, nodding at the cooked carcass. Serai had to forcibly stop her legs from shaking again. Human Jace, she whispered, my people believe the Dreknar is unkillable. Well, he said, wiping his hands, beliefs change. She swallowed hard. This human, he wasn't like the Vashkari. She had already known that, of course, humans were loud, emotional, stubborn, unpredictable. But this was something deeper. Her people spent centuries hiding, surviving, adapting. Humans? They faced the universe head-on. They challenged everything. Even legends. Even nightmares. She approached slowly, cautiously, as if Jace himself had become the new apex predator. What will you do with it? She asked quietly. He glanced at the carcass. Thought I'd take the hide. Maybe it'll make something useful. Serai stiffened. You intend to wear it? He shrugged. Leather's leather. That is, she searched for the word. Blasphemous. Jace smirked. Good thing I'm not Vashkari then. She sank onto the ground, overwhelmed. Their mission, to survey the jungle for settlement potential, now seemed insignificant. Nothing felt normal anymore. Not after this. Serai? She looked up. Jace's expression softened. I didn't mean to freak you out, he said. Humans have a saying, dangerous things taste better. That is the most human thing I have ever heard. Thank you. That was not a compliment. He laughed again. Despite herself, she felt a tiny tug of amusement. He was ridiculous. Absolutely reckless. And yet,
Alive.
Stronger than she had realized. Maybe stronger than anyone realized. The jungle rustled nearby, a low, heavy sound. Serai tensed, drawing her spear. Jace stood, hand going instinctively to the knife at his belt. A massive silhouette lurked between the trees. A second Dreknar. Serai's heart stopped. No, she whispered. There cannot be two. But there was, and it was enormous. Its mane bristled. Its 6 glowing eyes fixed on them with predatory intent. Jace inhaled deeply. Round 2, he murmured. No. Serai grabbed his arm. We must run. It will destroy us. He gently pulled his arm free. Serai, he said quietly, your people are terrified of these things because you've always run. That is survival. Sometimes survival means standing your ground. The Dreknar roared, a deep, bone-shaking sound that echoed across the moon. Serai trembled. Jace stepped forward. Not away. Not hiding. Not fleeing. Forward. The Dreknar lunged. Climax. The beast hit Jace like a meteor, snapping trees as they crashed into the undergrowth. Serai screamed, certain he was dead. But then she heard the human's furious shout. The Dreknar reeled back, a gash across its snout. Jace rolled to his feet, knife in hand, breathing hard. It struck again. Jace dodged narrowly. Its claws tore through a tree trunk where he'd been standing. Jace! Serai cried, throwing her spear. He caught it midair and drove it into the creature's flank. The Dreknar howled. Serai watched, frozen between terror and awe, as Jace fought with raw, impossible ferocity. The Vashkari believed humans were physically weak, fragile, slow. Every one of those beliefs shattered before her eyes. Finally, with a desperate shove, Jace jammed the spear deeper, hitting a vital point. The Dreknar collapsed with a thunderous crash that shook the jungle floor. Silence. Except for Jace's ragged breathing. He limped back into the clearing, shirt torn, covered in scratches and sweat. Serai stared at him as though he were a god. You killed too.
Yeah.
He winced. That second one was a pain. She approached slowly, reverently. Human Jace, she whispered. How are your species even real? He grinned weakly. Good question. Ending. By the time they returned to the Vashkari encampment, news had already spread. Scouts had heard the roars, felt the tremors, smelled the blood. When they saw Jace dragging 2 Dreknar hides, an entire crowd gathered, speechless. The elders approached in silence. Human, the first elder said slowly, voice trembling, you have done what no Vashkari has accomplished in thousands of cycles. Jace shrugged. They attacked me. I defended myself. Serai stepped forward boldly. This human, she announced, voice ringing across the gathering, did what we thought impossible. He faced the darkness and showed it could be defeated. A murmur rippled through the crowd. For the first time, Serai said softly, my people know the Dreknar can fall. The first elder bowed his head. Human Jace, he declared, you have changed our world. Jace scratched his cheek awkwardly. Cool. Serai let out a rare laugh. And for the first time in her life, she felt something unfamiliar.
Hope.
Because if a human could eat the galaxy's most feared predator, then maybe fear itself wasn't unkillable after all.